So hi there and welcome to the inaugural episode of Martech Matters. We are discussing marketing technology, automation, machine learning, AI, basically anything that is to do with marketing technology and how business owners and those that work within the marketing function can get ahead. Today's guest, I'm delighted to bring him in, is Rich Brasset from Long Live King. How's it going over there, Rich?
Fantastic, yeah, really well.
Brilliant. So Rich runs a digital agency called Long Live King. So just tell us a bit about your agency.
Yeah, sure. So we are essentially a website and web application agency. We kind of work in a number of different industries, food, sport, health, well-being, lifestyle kind of things really. And what we do is we look at building long-term relationships with people and allowing ourselves to really kind of build ourselves into our clients and deliver things through the web and for applications that kind of serve their business better, whether that's in-house or whether that's a marketing thing and engaging with their customers.
Brilliant. So what kind of customer would want an app, for example? So lots of clients always have a website. I don't think there's many businesses which don't have a website. So what leads a client down towards that pathway towards an app and having an app designed?
I think there's two sides to that really. So the application side, there's say in-house stuff, streamlining your own processes, automating things. And then sort of the outside part of that, so your customer engagement piece. And ultimately, that applies to most business. I don't think there's anyone that can't use applications. And I think the opportunity we've got now through the web is ultimately cutting out some of the cost that's associated with native app development. And I think it gives a good platform for people to kind of do anything they want through the web.
Sure. So if you're providing a service, for example, then it gives people the opportunity to log in and receive information and sign up for things like competitions and things like that.
Absolutely.
So progressive web apps. This is totally new to me. When I usually download an app, it's down onto my iPhone, for example, via iOS. So what is a progressive web app and what's the difference between that and a conventional app?
So the conventional app, as you say, are sort of installed onto your phones or desktops in sort of conventional software, and they can obviously take up quite a bit of space. And there's a lot of cost in developing those because you have something for iPhone, you might have it for Android, you might have something slightly different for iPad. So then you've got to develop and maintain all those different platforms. And the progressive web app side of things now is kind of blurring the lines between traditional mobile responsive websites and native apps. So we're able to now use push notifications, offline access, full screen applications. So they run essentially through the browser. They're essentially a mobile responsive website.
Right.
But you don't get that interface. So you've kind of got that immersive experience because obviously it's developed on the web, that can obviously be a lower cost of development. And that works across all different devices. Essentially, the responsive element of that comes into play.
Right. So if someone's having a website designed, they might view a progressive web app as an alternative to having a website designed entirely. Would that be the case?
They're kind of one and the same thing ultimately. So the progressive part is almost an addition to the standard website, essentially. So you'll have, and that's what's kind of progressive about it, is that you can continue to develop within the same platform. So you may well find that if it's like an e-commerce platform or something like that, then the progressive web app part of that could easily be kind of the client portal or some sort of wish list system or something like that that's a small component of the bigger thing. And then you can have that as a separate entity almost, on mobile, tablet, desktop, whatever that might be. So I think this is where the opportunities can lie in that point. So as an example, we've developed scheduling systems and project management tools where, you know, if you go online, you've got kind of the full calendar, the full sort of quoting, proposals, project management system. And then the mobile version has kind of the stripped back individual user view of their personal access to the system, basically. So, and again, that's all built within one system. So you're not managing different platforms.
The challenge is to get them to talk to one another and just to streamline that process as much as you can. Absolutely. Right. So is there like a real world example you might have of a progressive web app? Perhaps someone.
Yeah. So
before?
Yeah, the big people that are kind of playing with this at the moment, and not really playing with, it's probably a while ago since that kind of come out. The best examples are Google Maps, Twitter, Uber, Instagram. We've got a progressive web app. So at the moment, they're still running their native apps, but they're putting a lot of time and energy into building their web versions. So as a good example, Twitter, I've got Twitter Lite, and they will basically, if you go onto the website through your browser on your phone, you have the option to download the web app version, and it's like 25 kilobytes in size, and the experience is pretty much the same as the native app, which is around 25-30 meg to download onto your phone.
Okay.
And it'll be sort of noticeably quicker to launch and do what you do on Twitter, basically.
Right. So good for people perhaps with lower broadband speeds, for example.
Absolutely. And the offline access comes into that as well quite nicely, because if you're looking at sort of the native app for Twitter or Facebook, you would see the information you've already seen when you log in. So if you're on the tube or something like that with no signal, you'd still you'd have some sort of experience on the app. And the progressive web apps now have that facility, whereas before the website version, you just wouldn't be able to load the website. So you start to kind of balance the
right. So it's a lot closer to the app itself, because I use Instagram on my desktop, and I think Instagram is just generally trying to stay away from anything which isn't on a mobile phone. Certainly the use of vertical video is led pretty much by Instagram itself. So really, it sounds like these progressive web apps are just giving the experience, or giving the end user that choice between downloading the app or perhaps just going through a conventional browser, whatever device you're on.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and again, the access to the applications as well. You know, if you're driving people and you've got footfall on your website, then they're in kind of a prime location to access the application and download the app essentially from there. So you will eventually be able to go through app stores, and I know Windows and Google Play have already got some progressive web apps in their stores already. Right. But you can access them through directly through your website as well. So as part of your marketing strategy, you can kind of pull people into certain landing pages and drive people to that. So it's not like a new thing that people aren't going to find. That will become a little bit more mainstream and easier. And I think at a certain point, people won't know if they're getting one or the other. Ultimately, if the experience is correct, then the barrier to download that, for me, is not really there. People won't know if it's native or not, really.
Great stuff. So greater accessibility, very similar load time. That all sounds really good. So want to watch then progressive web apps, and they can go along to the Long Live King website and learn more about that stuff. Brilliant. That all sounds great, Rich. So just wrapping things up then. So other tips to help business owners and marketing types. So we know one another through the For Business Golf Network. And I think high quality networking certainly up there, should be one of the first things that we do. But just looking at marketing technology, things like automation, any useful tips out there, perhaps that you're on the edge of the curve at the moment?
I think technology-wise, I think it's more accessible to people. So things that you would want to do before that you were maybe put off by price, you can now potentially go and do. I think it's understanding what you want to try and achieve. It's kind of problem solving. I think still that's the main thing. And I think the web application stuff is a good solution to a lot of that stuff now. I think what I like to try and do is look at the application of the technology. And I think there's opportunities now to build longer term engagement with people. So with the platforms, if you can continue bringing people into your platform, then you can develop those longer term relationships. And I think as a marketing strategy, I think that helps to keep people focused on you as a brand ultimately.
Yeah.
And I think future wise, I think AR and VR through the web is going to be more powerful. I think we're coming out of the curve of it being a gimmick, and I think it's going to start having some more practical applications. I've seen Nike do a fair bit with kind of the AR with shoe fittings and that kind of thing, which is fantastic. And I think the web will become more powerful and allow you to do more with that as well. So it's not something I know a huge amount about yet, but I can see that kind of being a big part of the future.
Yeah, coming back to those couple of points. So lead nurturing is obviously really important. And if those progressive web apps can help you just to keep a client in your funnel, maybe your sales cycle is, maybe it's a bit longer, perhaps 90 days, maybe even 6 months to a year. So once you've captured that lead, if you can nurture them through, keep them interested. And yeah, today is the advent of 5G across 6 cities across the UK. So definitely that use of AR, mixed reality as well, which is the kind of augmented reality. And yeah, you should be able to see people walking around with their VR headsets on, just totally immersed. And just perhaps you're at an attraction, you'll see things like experiences just being a blend of reality and VR. So yeah, really exciting times at the moment. So just moving on, just some quick fire questions. So for business owners out there, CRM, we're on HubSpot over here. CRM, Rich, what are you on?
We've actually got a custom built system.
Custom built system.
Yeah.
No surprise there for a developer.
Yeah, I just stripped back what we needed. We've got our own kind of way of working. We've got the tools to build our own system, so that's what we did. And I think this is a good example of how applications can be used to strip down and say, you know what, HubSpot's fantastic. It's going to fit a lot of people. On the odd occasion, it won't. And these things can be built relatively easily now. And I think there's that approach of breaking down your way of working in your process, I think is key in saying, actually, this is how we need to work. This is what we want to do. So I think that's why we've done what we've done.
Yeah, definitely agree. We're on the free version of HubSpot. I mean, it's great value, isn't it, for free? But it doesn't have not quite the UX that I wanted. Some of the custom fields we can't go in and edit, so we're a bit restricted. So I am actually running an Excel spreadsheet alongside my HubSpot now, just for things like lead scoring and like drop-down menus for lead source. I wasn't able to enter those into HubSpot. Just moving on then, project management software. Do you use a mixture of different project management?
We have used a number of different systems. We use Trello for kind of bug fixing, sort of bug tracking and things like that. Again, we've got our own project management system. Again, we've got a very unique structure to how we work, and things like Basecamp, Asana.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. They're very well built systems. but they're not quite what we needed. So again, we've got the facility, so we built our own basically. That works with our CRM quite nicely.
Well, there you go. There you have it. So, I mean, yeah, we're on Trello. Slack isn't bad. We've used Basecamp Free as well. Some of our clients are on that, which is pretty impressive. It's a very competitive market space. Like, I get hit with Monday.com adverts all the time on YouTube. They're just battering me going, have a look at this project management software. But yeah, I mean, if you can create your own solution, then that's probably onto a winner there.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we always had was that we liked all of the systems, even Harvest as well for time tracking and that kind of thing. And I think the thing that kind of made us build our own thing was ultimately just there was always something missing from each one of them, and you kind of almost needed to have all of them in place.
Yeah,
and you start paying subscription fees for 6 different systems for all of your team, and the cost can start to sort of scale up. And ultimately, we didn't need everything from each piece of software, but we needed a little bit more out of each one as well. So again, a sort of custom solution kind of fitted quite nicely. But each piece of software that you can get is fantastic.
Brilliant. Yeah, there's no one size fits all magic piece of project management software. Yeah, so well, there you have it, guys. If you can write your own, then or if you're looking for a bespoke solution, I'm sure the guys at Long Live King will be able to help you. So brilliant. I'm going to wrap things up there. That's Rich Brasset from Long Live King, talking about progressive web apps. So please like and subscribe and turn on your notifications. And stay tuned. Look out for the next episode of Martech Matters, where we'll be discussing more about marketing technology. Cool. Cheers for watching, guys. See you next time. Wicked.